Scratch-cha-cha, everybody! It's time for some Sonic Rush!
Scraw.
Cha.
How did you record this, by the way?
3DS recorder. Yes, we can do DS and 3DS games now because me first, not John first, got one of those fancy schmancy 3DS recorders you guys kept sending us links
Oh,
about.
such bragging rights.
So this is actually being recorded on my DS, or 3DS I should say.
Can I take a moment to complain about the DS, please?
No,
What
the
purpose
DS
does
is
the
awesome,
two-
shut up.
What purpose does the two-screen thing serve?
Well, fuck you, the DS has one of the best game
Alright,
libraries ever.
Let's put it this way: for the
So does the
two-screen
PS2. It was
the
still it was
two-screen
still not better
approach
than
for
the others.
Sonic approach for Sonic Rush is a bit disorienting. I will agree, but for other games where the top screen is the gameplay and the bottom screen is a map, that's awesome.
It
It just makes the stages more vertical.
A good 90% of the best DS games only really use one screen, and I don't really mind that too much.
Then why not just have one screen that's fucking bigger?
Because it's just... Well, first off, the screens on the DS are fine. Or just fine.
They're
in size.
tiny.
No,
They're not that bad!
They're tiny.
They're
No, they're
not.
not.
That bad.
Have you played a Game Boy Micro?
Do you have a DS, Lewis?
Yes. I also have a 3DS. Well, technically, it's my brother's.
Oh,
You
look
should
at
get a
that.
3. You should get a 3DS XL.
Oh, look
I-
at special stages again.
I plan to eventually. There's too many 3DS games that I can't just not play. Yeah.
So,
I also have a PS Vita, and that screen is just fine. That is a perfect size for a fucking handheld screen.
so the fucking half pipe again. Wonderful.
As if
Only
we haven't gotten that
touchscreen
enough.
tastic.
Totally not barren and empty at all.
These are actually some pretty pathetically easy special stages.
Well, because the touchscreen makes it really, really, really easy.
yeah,
Well,
I can compliment the accuracy of the controls. It's just that
We're sick of the half pipe at this point.
Well, it's one problem that I have with these special stages, and this is more the touchscreen's fault than the game itself, but...
It's a fucking gimmick.
Well, no, not that. It's just whenever you're playing a touchscreen game, there's a very good possibility that your hand will be blocking a sizable portion of the screen. So, I can't tell you, especially when I first started playing this
you
game,
yourself are an obstacle.
how many times I ran into bombs because my hand was covering them.
It's a fucking gimmick.
Well, at least they kept the gimmick to these special stages, which are really
Nothing
short.
of value exists in these special stages.
Still better than Heroes.
You can say that to every special stage in every Sonic game ever made.
And hey, Lewis, if you actually touch the characters on the bottom screen with the touchpad, they react to it. Isn't that lovely?
Well, they sort of jump.
Yeah, because you touch them. It's like
Yeah,
the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Fucking Nintendo has been nothing but gimmicks since the Wii came out.
This came out before.
This is a...
Since the DS came out then. My point is, there's been nothing of value in any of it, but they've insisted on throwing it in everyone's faces.
This was one of the first DS games to come out, right? Or at least one of the first high-profile.
This game came out in 2005.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's one of
2000.
it was one of the first big name games to come out.
Yeah, the DS came out 2004,
Like
if I remember.
late 2004, and the only thing anyone played was Mario 64 DS.
Yeah,
Metroid
that seems
500's
to be
demo.
that seems to be a trend with Nintendo sort of consoles. It's like the first year is awful, and then after that, it's just like everything coming in a wave.
Well, oh no, I don't think
The
Mario-
the DS wasn't that bad.
No, the Mario.
No, there was
I
not a
don't
lot to play
I don't
on the
think-
DS when it first
wait.
came out.
Was Mario 64 DS?
It was a
time.
launch title.
Was it?
Yeah. I remember because I got it the same day I got my DS.
I see.
I remember there was.
And I 100%ed it in about 3 days.
Well, you don't playing that with playing a 3D game on the DS is obnoxious because you have to use a fucking D-pad.
Yeah, play it on the 3DS now because you have the circle pad.
Does it really make the controls that much better? though?
Oh, yes, it does.
Hell, it's two things. Yes, and you're psychologically inclined to think it does.
Well, the thing is that the game could only be programmed with an up, down, left, right, and then the diagonals in there, so it doesn't really have analog movement programmed.
This
into
doesn't
the
hurt
game.
your fingers as much.
Yeah, that too. And playing Super Mario 3D Land actually kind of numbed it even more.
Boo!
So, instead of Sonic Rush, everyone pretty much just called this C Sonic Run.
why were you going in circles for a while there?
Yeah, 'cause you missed
I
the jump.
jumped where I should have done a little bungee jump thing.
Lewis, have you even played Sonic Rush?
I've played it, but not for years. I mean, why would I go back to this?
It's
I don't know,
it's still a
I
fun
take it
game.
you're not a very big fan of this.
No, I'm not.
It's fun enough, I think. Like,
It's-
I did have a blast going back to play Sonic Rush for this, but I will agree that it's not something you can really go back to play over and over again. Just
There is
'cause-
exactly one fun way to play this game, and we are watching it right now.
Zoo.
The fun way I prefer to play Sonic games makes this game extremely unfun to control.
Well, I think, well, really, you're supposed to play this game. I think the game is definitely designed around.
There's only one fun way to play it, and that turns me off. Thank you.
Well, it's not like Sonic has really been a super non-linear play it any way you want kind of series. It's always emphasized run as fast as you can. So
Really?
yes, really.
Marble Zone says hi.
Marble Zone is fucking terrible, and that's why nobody liked.
Also, the entirety of Sonic 3 and
You
nothing
went past the
but
goal
hi.
ring.
I didn't.
Except Hydro City Zone. Hydro City Zone was pretty Sonic Rushy in that sense, but
I accepted that Sonic Rush was doing its own thing after the first act.
Yeah.
You know,
It knows what it wants to do, unlike a lot of other Sonic
Yeah.
games that kind of came out
and,
after.
you know, I'm saying, you know, that's fine. I can appreciate it for that. I just never want to go back to it because that doesn't draw
well,
me back.
at that point, that's just preference.
It has practically no replay value in this style.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it has no replay value, but it has sort of a very limited replay value, where you sort of play through the game once and then you're done for a long time.
That's the case with me because
every once in a while, in a long time, I can go back and play it.
Part of it is my dislike for playing handheld games in general.
Okay, one thing that I can
I-
definitely say sucks about Sonic
like-
Rush are these terrible ass boss fights. I hate these things.
Look, it's a 2D Sonic game with 3D models. Look at that.
Ugh, I hate these fucking boss fights.
You know what? This is a gimmick as the fucking touchscreen because they're just trying to dazzle you with 3D graphics on a handheld system.
And the models are fine, it's just that these boss fights take forever. And if you die, you have to start all the way over again.
I
remember-
wouldn't so much classify this as a gimmick, Lewis, as more of an evolution of the handheld console.
Like,
No.
this attack right
Yeah.
here's instant death on the first fucking boss fight. It's ridiculous.
You're kind of missing my point. It's not the evolution thing. It's more evolution and using evolution itself as a gimmick.
How so in the boss fights, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it's more just that the boss fights are big and fancy in 3D, and that's just they're trying to show off rather than make it interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you got a new...
They're not
if-
doing
if-
anything interesting with the technology other than, whoa, look, the camera shifts now.
I agree that it can be handled better, but at the same
Be handled
time,
a lot
the
better.
last handheld Nintendo had was the Advance, which was pretty much a glorified Super Nintendo.
And
With never
every
sound chip.
boss fight in those games was better than every boss fight in this one.
Sonic Advance 3 would like to have a word with you.
I like the boss fights in that game.
See,
Right.
look, this boss fight's 2 minutes long. It's ridiculous.
My biggest problem with the boss fights is they can be really drawn out. You know,
Yeah.
you want Eggman to do the fucking headbutt so you can hit him in the head.
You
and he ends
remember
up
the good
throwing
old
up a
days
spin attack.
when, if you were skillful, you can do these things really, really fast, and it was satisfying as hell? Those were the days.
The problem is this boss fight is that it has an instant kill move, so if you mess up at the very end, you've got to go through the entire 2-minute boss fight all over again. It's obnoxious.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a 2-minute boss fight is obnoxious in the first place. That is a really ugly-looking gemstone, by the way.
Oh look, one of those new Sonic characters that everybody doesn't hate for some
And then,
reason.
from the pits of hell, Blaze.
Let me tell you why people don't hate Blaze.
Because he's not
Because
annoying.
he plays like Sonic! You see, this is what we were talking about in our previous playthroughs. Make characters and make them play in the same style. It works.
Well, it also helps that she's not annoying.
Let's just like sort of personality-wise, I think she's kind of bland.
She's tsundere.
Yeah, I know, but the most important part is she's not annoying.
She's tsundere. That's literally all there is to her.
But she's not annoying.
And she's not
She
annoying.
doesn't have a voice. She doesn't have a chance to be annoying.
No, she has a voice in this game,
I
like
don't
everyone
know.
else.
I mean, despite how useless she was in 06,
Dialogue. No one
she
cares
still
about
didn't-
sound bites.
Ugh. I don't want you there. Go away. Fucking annoying asshole.
Yes!
Glorious two-frame animations and drawn-on smiley mouth.
That's all four. If I could be a nitpicky asshole.